In Chapter 5, we're going to learn all about cash control systems. We're going to be dealing with checking accounts and deposit slips. So here is an example of what a deposit slip would look like. Usually it's just a date, how much we're depositing, and the total deposits. We're also going to be looking at depositing, once we deposit the amounts, recording them on a check stub. So here is amount deposited. It looks like 8-1 for $5,000, and it's showing up right here on our deposit slip, or I'm sorry, on our check stub. This is check number 1, and if we were to write somebody a check, we would write the amount here, the date, who we're paying, and what we're paying or what we're buying. And then we'd record that information here and carry that balance forward onto the next check. We're also going to learn a little bit about endorsements, which means a signature or stamp on the back of a check to transfer the money. So a blank endorsement is simply just your name signed on the back of a check. A special endorsement would say to pay to the order of, a name, and then your name signed under that. It's also called an endorsement in full. And then the final one is a restrictive endorsement, and usually that's when we are going to deposit checks only. So we'd write the words for deposit only to the company's name and then your signature there. And if you're looking in the book on page 120, there's an example of all these types of endorsements. So let's go into our Applia problem work together 5-1. So here's our instructions for 5-1 work together. We are authorized to sign checks for Balsam Lake Accounting, so that's the name of our business. So instruction number 1, for each of the following situations, prepare the appropriate endorsement. We're going to start with a blank endorsement for the first one, a special endorsement for the second one to transfer a check to Kelsey Sather, and then on the third one we're going to write a restrictive endorsement to deposit the check to Balsam Lake Accounting. So again, we're going to use a blank endorsement, a special endorsement, and a restrictive endorsement. So right here it really gives us just a drop-down box here. So for the blank endorsement, all we're going to do is write the word signature here, but in all reality we'd write our name as the signature for a blank endorsement. The second one, we have a drop-down menu again. So we're going to, on the first line, have the words pay to the order of, and then the person that we're going to be paying, they gave us in the instruction, was Kelsey Sather, and then below that would be our signature. The final one, the restrictive, we are going to write the words for deposit only to the account of, the name of our business, and then our signature there again. Alright, our second instruction says to record the balance brought forward on check stub number 78 for $1805.75. So here's check number 78, and here's our balance brought forward line. So we're going to just write that amount right here on that line, which was the $1805.75. Instruction number 3 says to record a deposit of $489 made on October 30th of the current year on check number 78. So right here is the line that says amount deposited. We're going to write the 10/30 date in this line here. And then the amount was $489, so we put the $489 on the proper spot for the deposit amount. And then we have a subtotal, so we're going to have our balance brought forward, our beginning balance here, and we're going to add the amount that we deposited. So think of this as like your own checking account. If you had $1805.75, you deposited $489, add them together, and you would have $2294.75. So before we do the last instruction, number 4, we had our amount here for the subtotal. We have no other transactions here. We have no service charge for the month. We have no dishonored checks. So we're simply going to carry the same balance, $2294, down to the subtitle. So $2294.75 gets carried down to the subtotal balance. And then our last directions, number 4, prepare check stubs and write the following checks. Use October 30th of the current year as the date. Check number 78 was paid to Corner Garage for repairs for $162. And we always fill out the check stub portion before we write our check. So we're going to be filling out this portion, 78 number check for the Corner Garage for some repairs for $162. All right, here's the first one completed. We first write our amount up here in the dollar sign, $162, the date, October 30th, paid to Corner Garage for repairs. Down here, amount this check is the $162. So if we're writing a check, we're taking money away from our account, so we have to subtract $22.94.75 minus $162. Leaves us with $21.32.75, and then we fill out our check. So October 30th is the date, paid to the order of Corner Garage, $162. We spell out the words that are the amount, so $162 and no cents over the dollar. We put what we're writing this check for, repairs, and then the signature of the person writing the check. So let's do the second one together. Part B, check number 79, paid to St. Croix Supply for some supplies for $92. So same type of situation, we're writing the amount in the check stub first. The date is still October 30th. We're writing this check to that St. Croix Supply for some supplies. Balance brought forward now. We have to take whatever we had from the previous check and we bring this down to the balance forward, so we copy that amount down, the $21.32.75. We're not making any deposits right here, so we're going to bring that subtotal down one more time, $21.32.75. And then third time we have to bring it down because no other transactions happen, no other service fees or anything else that happened to our account. So we have to write that number one last time, $21.32.75. Finally down here, amount this check is the $92, so we write that down. And we have to subtract to take the $21.32.75, subtract the $92, and we're left with $20.40.75. Then we go on to fill out the check. So here we have a drop-down menu, the date, October 30th, paid to the order of the St. Croix Supply. The amount goes here, $92. We write out the word, be careful that you pick the right one, $92, not the $100. What did we buy? We bought some supplies, and our signature goes here. So that concludes the 5-1 work together. Again, we just did the simple endorsements up here at the top, and then we wrote out the check stubs first, paid the check. Don't forget this simple math here. Use a calculator when you're trying to figure out these totals. It will make it a lot easier. That is it. Go ahead and finish this problem and move on to the 5-1 on your own.